Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hartford Whalers expansion franchise here on NHL 24. Happy New Year. It's actually New Year's Day 2028 at this point in the franchise as the Canadiens forced to turn over there in the neutral zone. Now on the rush as Caufield loses it there into the corner, and we're hoping to start the new year off with a win here. It's Topian Tia right in front, the 8th overall pick from 2025, now in his third season, has been emerging as a dynamite offensive player for Montreal. Now, the other way is Shifley for Philip Zadina, a shot there on Korpisalo as he freezes that one up. As I said, it is New Year's Day now in year 5 of this Whalers franchise. And now a tie up there on the faceoff as Shifley, another shot as Korpisalo gloves that one. Our Whalers have been playing tremendous hockey so far as we head towards the midway point of this season as Nick Suzuki, now 28 years old, one of the older players on this Canadiens team. They are extremely young, but a lot of young talent as they're looking for their first playoff appearance still over the course of this franchise, now into year 5. And now Brandon Montour, nice feed up there for Leo Carlsson as that's poked away and now picked up by Montreal. Merkley up for Cole Caufield as Shifley able to time up along the boards. Zadina trying to work into the zone, but he could not, was held up as now Kirby Dach with it as he loses the handle. Montour, a good feed there for Shifley. Mark Shifley has been out there this whole time pretty much, as now Slafkovsky will feed that up the boards for Dach. Dach is able to dump it in, giving chase now as Provorov will get there first, now being held up against the boards. Kicks it behind the net now for Andrew Peeke. Peeke now up the ice as he'll dump that one in. Ryan Graves now for the Canadiens. The Canadiens, I want to say 6th or 7th right now in the Atlantic. Like I said, a very young team, but should be on the come up here soon as now Landeskog into the zone. Now into the corners, Gabriel Landeskog in front for Razovik. Rebound in front, Andre Mangiapane from the side there as Korpisalo able to get that pad. Not the best angle from Mangiapane, but this line has been tremendous at generating offense in recent games. Now Kirby Dach into the zone. Peels away now in front for Slafkovsky. Slafkovsky in front backhand as Askarov able to stop that one, but the rebound now back to the point for Nobles. A shot. And I want to say that went off the post, as now Teratukin was the top defender, the top defenseman drafted back in 2023, I believe it was, the first draft in this franchise. Is now a rip from Teratukin from the point as Askarov corrals that one. And now Andrew Kopp out there against Owen Beck. Advantage Beck now for Teratukin as he works towards the net. Askarov is sprawling out and Beck off the rebound finds the back of the net as the Canadiens score first here on the road. And like I said, that was Teratukin on the initial shot, the 6th overall pick from 2023, the top defenseman in that draft. We took Leo Carlsson at 4, and the Canadiens took Teratukin at 6, as, again, Askarov struggling to corral the rebound, and that was just served right up there for Beck, as Askarov in a bad spot. And now 1-0 Habs, as now Kopp will win that as he forced the man off the faceoff. Now Denisenko into the zone as he works towards the net. Another save by Korpisalo on the pad. Great job there by Denisenko to work into the zone. Good finesse that time is now Owen Beck looking for number 2. A feed there for Teratukin, and he can't get the shot off. Jordan Spence now for Chaika as he gets that for Kopp. Now a long pass over for Brock Besser as Besser some steam towards the net. A shot and a save by Korpisalo. And now that Montreal 4th line out there for the first time, featuring Gavin McKenna, who was drafted last year. Now to deal Chaika a shot from the point as that deflects out of play. McKenna was drafted 3rd overall last year, but stayed with Medicine Hat there in the WHL, I believe, for another season, as he now has the puck in his rookie year. As now for Comtois. Comtois towards the net now for McKenna, and as he couldn't handle that one, had a chance on the one-timer there. Is now Kidney with it in the corner, and now Cole Sillinger will steal that one for Chaika. Now for Tom Wilson. Wilson just into the corner, picked up by Keith Haryu. Now for Merkley, as he's pickpocketed there along the boards. Cole Sillinger in front for Tom Wilson, a save off a good chance. Good generation there from Cole Sillinger, and good shot by Wilson. And the slot is now Kidney for Montreal, hit down to the ice by Tom Wilson, and he does gain possession. Now Merkley in the slot, blocked in traffic, is now Denis Gurianov will give over for Cole Sillinger. Now off the boards, does dump it in. It's going to be picked up by Merkley for Montreal. And now Cole Caufield, as that top line is back out there. McKenna, though, still on the ice, as that's going to be overtaken by Montour now for Shifley, as he feeds over for Leo Carlsson. So Carlson towards the net now, trying to get that behind the net, but bounced off the side. And now for Zadina, back to the point for Sammy Maki. Tried an extra pass, maybe should have just ripped it there with a clear lane to the net, as that's intercepted. And Leo Carlson now into the zone. In front, tried to pass there for Maki. Could not handle it, as now Scheifele for Montour. A rip from close quarters, and Korpisalo remains flawless. You see Cole Caufield, 20 goals, 25 assists, 45 points, as we're about at game 36, I believe, in this season. And now Hartford does lose that offensive zone faceoff, as Jorg Nobles with it. A rookie drafted in this past offseason, already cracking the show here. The 12th pick, one of the top defensemen from this past draft. As now Hartford a rush in front, and a tough angle to get that past Korpisalo, as Brandon Montour was denied. Now I have Razovic, Landeskog, and Mangiapane out there. They've been tremendous at generating offensive chances. As Maki is shot from the point off a pass from Montour, that's gloved by Korpisalo. Korpisalo has been among the worst starting goaltenders in the Eastern Conference, but looking strong in this one so far. As that is one back to Jorg Nobles, now up for Heineman. And he's knocked off the puck by Montour, but picked up by Newhook. Now in front for Beck, trying to get another one poke check there by Askarov. Heads up play from the goaltenders. Now the other way for Hartford. Mangiapane on the net. And that's going to be a rebound now into the corner. Back for Razovic, as he's overtaken by Beck. Now to Heineman for Newhook, as he leads the charge. Over for Heineman into the zone. Heineman now back for Beck. A shot. Good puck movement there by Montreal on the rush. And now Graves for Heineman. Back for Nobles. A shot, and that goes wide. Montreal has not had many chances, but when they've generated them, they've been very quality. Now Mangiapane able to work past a Canadian there in the neutral zone, but ends up being overtaken by Beck. Montour fighting with Beck there, as Denisenko does get it. Now Montour leading a charge here. Loose puck picked up by Kopp. Behind the net now for Brock Besser. Besser in front, and a tough angle that time. In front for Kopp now, Denisenko a chance. And Korpisalo again making a big save into the final couple minutes here of the first period. Still that third line out for Hartford. Andrew Kopp on the draw, as he does win it back now for Provorov to Denisenko in the corner. Denisenko working in front, tried the tough shot there, short side. And again, Korpisalo the save. I want to say 12 or 13 saves in this period. Slavkovsky working a chance there for Wah, and that is denied by Askarov, as Provorov will give for Peak. Now Denisenko delayed penalty, as Hartford into the offensive zone here into the final seconds, as we are going to have a stoppage. So I think that's Wah on the charging penalty, as now Hartford likely to take a power play into the intermission. Nick Suzuki on the draw, as that goes to Scheifele now for Carlson. He should have just shot that. The extra passes are killing us. And now Landeskog ends up with it. Back for Carlson. Just someone shoot it. Oh my goodness. Terrible development there. We had like 2 or 3 chances. We could have just ripped it on net, as we are down 1-0 heading into the first intermission. The lone goal there by Owen Beck off his own rebound. And despite doubling the shot total there from Montreal, 12-6 in the first period, we find ourselves trailing on the scoreboard where it counts. But we are up a man here to start the second period. A minute and I think like 40 of power play time, although Montreal cutting that down with the face-off win. And now into the zone and generating a chance, but couldn't get one off. We gave up a shorthanded goal in our last live look-in in the last episode against Philly, as Landeskog trying to work towards the net and couldn't get anything off, but now back with it. Try to get Zadina, now back to the point. No one can receive these passes. Carlson finally shoots it, and it's almost deflected, just goes a little bit wide. And now into the corner, Ryan Graves. Battling still, loose puck in front for Zadina, and he had a chance, but passed it. Now Tom Wilson, a kick save there by Korpisalo, paddled that one into the corner. Now Carlson tried to get a rip as he whiffed. And now Carlson at the point for Tom Wilson. Back for Carlson. Zadina a rip. And again, blockered away by Korpisalo into the corner, as Graves being mugged by Mark Scheifele, who ends up with now Landeskog in front. And again, a tough angle as Korpisalo will freeze it. Still 12 seconds left of power play time. Offensive zone face-off for Hartford. A big one here, as Montreal does win that. Nick Suzuki on the win, as they do get the clear. And we are now back at full strength as Topian Tia forces the turnover, trying to create something here for Montreal. Nothing doing, though, as Hartford is able to get it out. Now Brock Besser trying to create some space, as Watt out of the box does hit him, but Besser now with it. A shot from the slot, saved by Korpisalo. And now into the corner, Merkley against Kopp, as that's kicked up the board. Slavkovsky gets for Waugh, as Joshua Waugh Pickpocketed there by Leo Carlsson. Now Besser over for Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson barging into the zone. Save there by Korpisalo. Is now Merkley off the rebound. Good feed there for Waugh into the zone for Montreal, and he's knocked into the boards. What a big hit there by Tom Wilson as Kirby Dach trying to make something happen, fighting there with Carlsson in front, and Waugh able to get that quick backhand that came out of nowhere, but Askarov able to steal that one off. Now have Rozovic on against Kidney here on the draw. Gavin McKenna back on the ice for the Canadiens. As Montour, good feed there for Mangiapane as he was hit, but able to get rid of the puck as Mangiapane turns it over here. Now Maxime Comtois trying to work it in, and Hartford able to take that. Landeskog now for Montour. Good pass there for Maki. Trying to make something happen into the zone, just dumps it in, and Nobles will pick that up. Nobles now behind the net, almost gave that up for Jack Rozovic as Montreal now a chance the other way. Graves, a presumptuous pass there. Now Rozovic, a breakaway here for Jack Rozovic. And he's stopped. Forehand rebound for Mangiapane, and I think a Montreal Canadiens player blocked that one from going in the net. A wide open net there. Now Sillinger for Mangiapane at the point. And now Landeskog does lose it there for McKenna, but Provorov able to get it. Now Mangiapane a rip and a pad save by Korpisalo. He has now stopped the first 20 shots he's seen in this game. We're not even halfway through it. And now again, Hartford trying to make a rush happen. Guryanov. And he's going to be picked off by Kifaru. And now for Merkley. Merkley still with an effort. Suzuki. And that'll be blocked by Peak as Suzuki tried the lead pass towards the net. And Peak will dump that in. Picked up by Merkley up the boards for Caufield. That is now Cole Caufield. Very good skater as he breezes into the zone. Towards the net, picked off again by Peak. He's been very good defensive presence there in our own zone. And now Wilson bringing it in. As he is overtaken there by Teratukin, but Wilson gets the last laugh. Another big hit there from our veteran right wing. Now down to the fourth line for now, but he's made his presence felt to Suzuki towards the net as Chaika gets it, but another chance there for Montreal, but Daniel Chaika stood strong there defensively. Now Zadina the other way. Behind the net now, tried a centering pass, but a little rough on that one. Now Caufield for Slavkovsky. A shot, and he scores! And just like that, Montreal up 2-0. And we have dominated this game, dominated time on attack, dominated shots, but we have not dominated the scoreboard. As now 2-0 Montreal. Slavkovsky beats Askarov there, short side, glove side. And Askarov has not been tested too much in this game. Maybe a reason why he's given up these goals. Needs to stay a little more alert. As Cole Caufield now among the points leaders. He is now 4th in the NHL with 46 points. And now Montreal up 2-0, more than halfway through this second period. Canadiens have had the advantage on the face-off circle most of the game. And now Scheifele just chasing Nobles all over the ice. And now finally Hartford with it. Daniil Chaika. Here's Chaika trying to make something happen in front for Zadina, but goes to Spence a shot. And that's going to be gloved by Korpisalo. The Whalers have won 8 of our last 10 games, but need to score some goals here. His faceoffs are even, or I guess now 9-8 Montreal. Slavkovsky, fresh off a nice goal, still seeking his first 20-goal season as an NHLer. As now Montour for Zadina. Zadina will work that into the zone, but runs right into Nobles as he gets that now for Kirby Dach. Trying to work there past Sami Maki as he does. Gets it for Waugh towards the net. Now Slavkovsky on the deke. And Askarov able to save that one. We got to get a goal here before we go into the intermission. That would just do so much for the psyche. As we have dominated here, but that's not what matters. As now Montour. We'll give that for Besser. Besser trying there for Kopp in front, but picked off by Beck. As he now gives that over for Nobles. Intercepted in the neutral zone by Denisenko. Now he's trying to create something. Denisenko towards the net as Nobles gets it back. And now for Newhook. There for Heineman. Heineman into the zone. Will dump that into the corner. Picked up by Montour. Now Brock Besser, the pending free agent. We'll see if we decide to bring him back. As now Besser able to go through a man. Now towards the net. A shot. And that's gloved by Korpisalo. Maybe our best chance of the period so far. Great job there by Besser just to keep going towards the net. A good shot, but Korpisalo has been on his A game here today. Not what we expected. But I think once one falls, the floodgates might open up. And now Kopp on the faceoff wins that back for Peak. and he could not get a shot off. It was blocked out of the zone there by Topiantia, one of the great young forwards on this Canadiens team. Landeskog now a good feed there for Besser, as he's overtaken by Cole Caufield. Good pass there for Antia. Now Antia has some space in front, and that was good recovery from Provorov, but still with it in the zone. Montreal, a shot there paddled away by Askarov. Only 10 shots faced in this game by Askarov so far. Now Kaharyu is knocked off the puck. Mangiapane now for Razovic to peek, and for Mangiapane out of harm's way for now is Mangiapane now towards the net. Andrew Mangiapane, the captain, a good rip. Again, another save by Korpisalo, as that's kicked into the corner for Kaharyu. Kaharyu now for Antia, as that was blocked on the pass attempt out of the zone. Now Landeskog with it, going past center ice now into the zone. Landeskog into the corner behind the net now for Razovic. Jack Razovic back to the point for Wilson now for Peak, as he'll get back for a Wilson, and that was blocked by Caufield. That one hurt. And now Razovic in the corner, as Caufield will pick that up. Gives for Gavin McKenna. And now McKenna on the zone entry, as he's overtaken by Provorov, but still Montreal with it. Kidney back to the point. And now for Tertukin, for McKenna in front. Shot save Askarov. Gavin McKenna just lurking over there. Only 3 goals to start so far, I believe, for him, as this one is going to bring us into the second intermission. A shot there by Guryanov, as Hartford Whalers still have not found the back of the net. Joonas Korpisalo absolutely flawless in this one. I want to say at this point now 25 saves, or make it 23 saves, as we're still more than doubling the shots of Montreal, 23-11. Winning time on attack, 458 to 331, but they still have the lead on the scoreboard. Slavkovsky added another one to double their lead, and I think if we can keep up what we've been doing, and I think one will eventually fall, as Scheifele against Suzuki here to start the third period here. New Year's Day of 2028. I wonder where we're going to be at that point. Now Scheifele to Montour. As Hartford, an early goal would be great, of course. Montour dumps that now behind the net. Kaharyu, as he will kick that for Antia, and now for Caufield. And Caufield will lead the charge. Caufield still with the puck now over for Suzuki. In front for Caufield, that was blocked, I think, by Montour or Scheifele. Now Antia back for Kaharyu for Merkley, and that is going to go out of the zone. They have to reset. And now Caufield will bring it back in. Hit off the puck. Great hit there by Mark Scheifele, knocking him down. As Montour now over for Leo Carlson. Leo Carlson behind the net now for Zadina. Back for Maki. Now Montour over for Carlson. Back for Maki. As we just love passing the puck, and then Montour. And that's the shot we take. Montour all the way from the blue line, essentially. Just into traffic, as that was blocked. And now Caufield, as he needs a line change here. Maki does take that over for Zadina, who also needs to get off the ice. And now Sami Maki with it. And he turns it over there to Kaharyu. And now 4 minutes into this third period. Kaharyu into the zone for the Canadiens, as that's taken by Montour over for Gabriel Landeskog. Now for Razovic. And nothing doing there. As Mangiapane able to get the zone entry towards the net in front for Razovic, and he couldn't get a shot, and Korpisalo does end up with it. Now a face-off to the left of Korpisalo. 15 minutes left in regulation. Montreal on the win for Nobles, as he finds Suzuki across the ice, as he will take that in. I'm sorry, that's Wah, as he's knocked down by Provorov, and that is going to be a penalty, maybe charging or interference. And now the Canadiens with their first power play of the game, already up 2-0. McKenna there at the right wing for Montreal on this second power play unit. Big win there for Hartford, as Chaika now turns it over in the neutral zone, and Newhook will take it in. A chance now for Gavin McKenna, and he shoots and scores his 4th goal of the season. And the first rush there on the power play for Montreal. They're able to find the back of the net, and just a terrible turnover there in the neutral zone. It was looking good. Peak maybe even screening his own goaltender there, and just it has not been good for Hartford. Yeah, Peak just setting the screen. Whose team are you on? And Gavin McKenna, of course, has been the highlight of this episode. He's a big reason why we even took to a full game here against the Canadiens, despite how low they are in the standings. But they've been taking it to us in this one, as they now lead 3-0. Less than 14 minutes left. Now Slavkovsky trying to get another one, as he shoots snared by Askarov. And now Kopp on the win, There's not much time now to rewrite this 3-goal deficit. I'll take one at this point. You never like getting shut out on home ice, especially to start the new year. And Denisenko overtaking. Good stick lift that time from Newhook to overtake it. And now Kopp forces a turnover in the offensive zone. But again, we're just trying to do too much in the offensive zone. Despite our high shot count, I feel like we've left a lot of good chances on the table. Now Heineman in front for Newhook, and he scores and knocks the water bottle down. And Montreal absolutely taking it to us in this one. I think Askarov, his confidence has just, plummeted, as that might be a milestone for Newhook based on the celebration. And my goodness, Heineman taking it in right into the slot as Cobb. You got to stay on your man there. He's going towards the blue line when the pass is going right to Newhook there, as that knocks the water bottle down again, beating the glove of Askarov. And it is not looking good. I wonder if we go to our backup goaltender at this point, Daniil Tarasov. But I think I still see him sitting there over on the bench. So now 12:04 remaining. Our Whalers are getting absolutely roasted here on New Year's Day. But we're going to win the physical battle if we can. A huge hit there by, I can't see who that was still. That was Andrew Peak. And now for Razovic, a shot gloved by Korpisalo. Now 11:11 left on the clock as Montreal wins that face-off. Noble's knocked off the puck now for Maxime Comtois, as now Landeskog with it. Feeds that over for Andrew Mangiapane. Now a long pass over for Razovic, now for Peak. Peak spins away from a man, and we'll just take that all the way down. Peak now for Landeskog, for Provorov trying to get a rush going, as Razovic fighting there against Nobles, tries a centering pass, but that goes off the pad of Korpisalo, and he ends up to freeze it. Razovic on the face-off, trying to tie it up as Montreal again wins it. This is just turning so ugly. And now Comtois try to pass there, and it's overtaken by Hartford. I've never seen such a one-sided game, despite it being one-sided the other way. Dominant from Hartford, at least first and second period, but just have not been able to find their way on the scoreboard as Montour ripped. That one went past the net off a deflection, as now Comtois the other way for the Canadiens. 8 minutes remaining in this New Year's Day game. Now Maki hit off the puck here for Scheifele for Carlson, as he's knocked down. Just ugly, just sloppy play here from Hartford, especially in this third period. Suzuki now for Antia, and Askarov gloves that one. Now just over 7 minutes remaining. Stay tuned after this game. We are going to sim ahead a few games and really officially hit the halfway point of this season. Maybe sim a little bit past that, as I think this is game 36. So we'll go to at least game 41 on just normal simulations. Hopefully we can pick up our play there. Last episode we played against Philly. We lost 5-2, but then we simmed 2 games and we won both of them. So maybe our luck here in these live look-ins, these slow simulations, just aren't the best. But we're still going to watch this team. As Zadina backhand chance from far, and easy save for Korpisalo. In line for the shutout. No one saw this coming. A sub-900 save percentage, a goals against over 3.1. But in this game, no goals against and over 30 saves, I want to say. Is now Sillinger will win that for Maki. And he can't get anything off ground for now for Montour, and just shooting it directly into traffic again. Now less than 5 minutes here for Wah. Good play there by Montour to knock him off the puck, and takes it for Guryanov now, as he chips that one in, giving chase as he's trying to get that from Merkley, but Merkley gets some space and takes it out of the zone. But he is hit there, and they're going to call another penalty, and that's going to be Cole Sillinger. And now about half of the remaining time will go to Montreal on the power play, unless they are able to find another goal here. As Merkley, that one almost deflects in. Now McKenna behind the net, kicks that for Slavkovsky. Slavkovsky against Spence. Now McKenna, another chance, and he scores again. Oh my goodness, 2 goals on the power play here for Gavin McKenna. And he is just taking it to us in this one, as are the Montreal Canadiens. I just don't know what to say about this game. We so many chances, but 5-0. This just does not even seem real at this point. I don't know what to say. Jordan Spence, I don't know why he's on the PK. And then McKenna just served up on a silver platter for him again. And now he entered this game with 3 goals, and he almost matches that in one game alone. Finds 2 in this one, both on the power play, as our PK is going to go 0 for 2 in this game, if not worse. But hopefully we can stay out of the penalty box for the remainder. I'm just speechless now. This is just, if I was in attendance right now, I'd be ashamed of this team. Even though we are second in the Metro, I mean, we've been playing tremendous hockey, winning 8 of our last 10 games. But just this one, very ugly. And it just makes you rethink things a little bit. And now Spence trying to get it back, and he does! We restore some dignity. His first goal as a member of the Hartford Whalers. Traded for him back in the offseason. We just sent Will Coley and I think a 7th round pick to the Kings, hoping that Spence could provide some offensive prowess there on our back end, a guy, defenseman who can move the puck, but this time he finds the back of the net for his first goal. It has not been great for our third defensive pairing of Jordan Spence and Neil Chaika. Heading towards the trade deadline, definitely want to bolster that unit, as it's now a 5-1 game here from Hartford. Chaika on the assist. At least we got one. And now Montreal trying to get that one back. It hasn't been all that great for the Canadiens this season, so they needed this one, I think, more than we did. Although we are battling in that tough Metro division. Right now, 10 points behind the first place New York Islanders, although we are 2-0 against them this season. And now another rush here for Hartford. Probably too little too late as Denisenko, a good chance saved by Korpisalo. Now Kiharyu for Oscar Beck, Owen Beck, the first goal scorer in this game. And now a feed from Merkley in front, trying to add another one as Tarasov does save that one as he entered the game a few minutes back after that 5th goal surrendered by Askarov. So in our last 2 games we've watched, Askarov has allowed 5 goals, but he's been very good otherwise in the normal simulations that we do. And now Montreal, another offensive zone face-off win as Besser able to get that one and gets it out of the zone. Let's add one more here. 5-2 is not bad. I mean, it is bad, but not as bad as 5-0. And now Besser sticking with it. A shot gloved by Korpisalo. His 29th save of the game. Now 35 seconds left in this one. Let's just bleed it down as Provorov is shot blocked. And the rookie Jorg Nobles takes that out of the zone, but being held up there against the boards as they fight for the puck. And now Heineman does end up with that one. Into the corner. Heineman in front now for Nobles. A shot glove saved by Tarasov. And now 18 seconds. Can we just get out of this one without another stoppage? Now Provorov up for Landeskog. Or for Mangiapane. Now in the slot for Provorov, a shot, loose puck. Landeskog will bury that on the rebound with 8 seconds remaining. Too little, too late, obviously, but it's good to get another one back. We had Spence score his first goal. He was an offseason acquisition, and now we have Landeskog score his 12th goal. Of course, we made that blockbuster trade, bringing him over from Colorado, as they also lost Cale Makar in the offseason, as the Avalanche are on a downward slope now, but we're not really talking about them anymore. 8 seconds now. Landeskog finds the back of the net for another one. But 5-2 Canadiens. They came into our own house and absolutely took it to us. Gavin McKenna, 2 power play goals as we win another face-off, and Peak going to rip that one. So 1.8 seconds now. We cannot get out of it without a stoppage. And actually 2 stoppages with the goal, and now another frozen puck. And now one more face-off, and we can just head to the locker room and reassess things after this tough loss as Montreal comes into Hartford and wins 5-2. 2 goals from Gavin McKenna, a standout performance from Jonas Korpisalo at goaltender for Montreal. He really needed this one. The Canadiens now, I think, 1 game over 500 if you don't count overtime losses. And our Hartford Whalers now fall to, I want to say, 22-12-1 on the season. Still tremendous play it's been so far for our Hartford Whalers. But we need to get back into the win column. We can't get used to these big losses. 5-2 last time against the Flyers. Now 5-2 against the Canadiens. But we have the pieces in place. We've been playing tremendous hockey. And I think we'll be all right. 5-2 from the XL Center. And with that loss, we now fall to 23-13-1, so I was a little off on our record, but that just slips us from 2 to now 4 in the Metro. Just goes to show 1 loss, makes a drastic change in the standings, as even though we're about at the halfway point of this season, we still have a bunch of teams here in the Metro in contention. Even the Devils are still kind of in it, 7 points away from the Flyers and us, who have those 2 wild card spots now, and the Hurricanes, of course, only a couple points out. So the Penguins and the Caps probably the only teams out of playoff contention at this point. So it's pretty much 5 of these 7 teams can make it out of the Metro, assuming we hold both wildcard spots, which usually is the case. So now we are going to get ahead with some simming. We have a home game here, or I guess another 3 home games as a nice homestand for our Whalers now against Minnesota. But we will just check and see that Askarov is having a night of rest just based on that last performance. We have a back-to-back, so we'll give him some rest, get him out there for Pittsburgh in that division game in the next matchup. So now sitting against Minnesota, who did win the Stanley Cup going back to the year 2 season, as now after the first period, we are up 2-0. Leo Carlsson, 2.5 minutes in, found the back of the net on Jesper Wallstedt, and then Landeskog about 6 minutes later has another goal, so make it back-to-back games for him. But we allow 3 here in the second: Kaprizov, Boldy, and Spurgeon. So now we will sim this third period in real time. Minnesota a power play, and they do score on it. Boldy, his second of the game, and again, we only allowed 14 shots, but 4 of them in the back of the net. Now make it 5 out of 15 have found the back of the net. Now make it 6 out of 18 have found the back of the net. And I did not even get to say, Besser scored, Scheifele scored, now Tom Wilson scored. It's 6-5 here in the final 8 minutes. Now into the final 5 minutes. Can we tie it up for some OT? And we do not. We allowed 7 goals in this game. Kaprizov, another one. What is happening? We outshot them 38-20, and we still lost 7-5, now being outscored 12-7 in our last 2 games. We need to step it up defensively, but hopefully with Askarov now back in net against one of the bottom teams in the division, hopefully this turns the tide for us, gets us back in the win column after back-to-back losses to start the episode. A good start, 3-1 after the first period. Tom Wilson an early one, and Tyler Seguin, now a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins, on the power play. And then Spence gets his second of the season in a matter of 3 games. Adina finds one. I feel like he hasn't scored in a while, as again we outshoot them 14-6, and now 4-1 after the second. Grigory Denisenko, I think his 8th of the season now, and I'm assuming we can hold a 3-goal lead, as we barely do. Oh my goodness, we win 6-5. Askarov again, not the best performance from him, as we get outscored 4-2 in the third. We get Carlson, Montour goals, but Frank Vetrano with 18 seconds left made it a 1-goal deficit for the Penguins, but we do survive at home here. We get back into the win column, which now moves us back to 3rd in the division, as Andrei Vorobiev going to miss a few games there, one of our top prospects down at the AHL at Poughkeepsie, as we're now set for game 40 of this year 5 season against the Vancouver Canucks. They've been one of the bottom teams over the course of this franchise, so hopefully that plays to our favor here as we will sim ahead this game and Detroit, and I think we'll call it a day, as that would put us officially at the midway point after 41 games. And after the first period, we are up 1-0. Jack Roslovic, the lone goal scorer. Dan Vladar, the goaltender here for Vancouver, but of course present day tearing it up with my Philadelphia Flyers. As the day I am recording this, they are set game 1 against the Carolina Hurricanes, so we'll see how that goes. And now 3-0 after the second, as Scheifele and Montour each scored a goal in the final minute of the period, just absolutely crippling for the Canucks. Those came within 34 seconds of each other. Now for the third period, we hang on for the shutout. Mark Scheifele nets one, so 4-0 here over the Canucks, as Askarov, a much-needed bounce-back game for him. I want to say maybe his first or second shutout of the season. He did miss about a month, so didn't have time to accumulate any in that span. But another win here, is we're now 2-2 in the episode. But 500 hockey is not going to do it if we want to make the postseason out of the Metro this season. But Detroit, actually, we'll take a look at them right now. They are 3rd in the Atlantic, so 2 potential playoff teams, as we're 3rd in the Metro. The Red Wings also, like the Canadiens, a very young team, but they've put together some good pieces as well. Now, after the first period, we are trailing 1-0. Dominik Kubalik, the lone goal scorer in this one. Detroit outshooting us 9-5. But we do get back on top after the second. Tom Wilson just 1 second after the halfway point of the period. And then later on, Andrew Mangiapane on the power play to put the Whalers up 2-1. So we will just live sim this third period. If Detroit ties it up, we will jump into this game and just watch the remainder, as we are now into the final 10 minutes. Hartford still up 2-1, and strike that as they do tie it up. So Soderblom does get Detroit on the board. We are going to jump into the remainder of this one, as we are going to be at the XL Center, taking on the Detroit Red Wings. Dominik Kubalik, Lucas Raymond, Joe Velino, some of the top forwards on this team, all X factors, as Kubalik has progressed very nicely along there with Lucas Raymond. Now 750 after that goal by Soderblom. And it says Detroit has won their last 4 games, as Edvinsson over for Moritz Seider. Now Detroit works it in. Centering pass there was picked off by, I think, Mark Scheifele, as he does have the puck now. Scheifele leading the charge for Hartford. Into the corner, try the centering pass, and that's picked off by Seider, but Scheifele wins it back now for Provorov, as that goes off the stick of, I'm not sure who that was that he was trying to get it to, Andrew Peak, I believe. And now Provorov back with it up for Mark Scheifele. And Scheifele still with it. And he gets hit off the puck. Very good hit there As Detroit back with that was Edvinsson, one of the young defensemen, along with Moritz Seider on this team as Berggren shakes off a man. Now Seider in the slot, a save by Askarov into the corner. Now back to the point for Berggren. For Edvinsson, now Seider, another shot. And that was not full force. I think was not a clean shot or deflected. As you see our upcoming games where we're going to pick it up next episode at Vegas, at Colorado, for Gabriel Landeskog's return to his former arena. And actually, maybe we'll just simulate the next game against Las Vegas and then pick it up next time against Colorado in Landeskog's return to his longtime home. And now Detroit in the offensive zone for Larkin, tried the centering pass. Maki able to stop that one. Now Zadina against his former team as he'll chip that in. Zadina, one of 4 remaining players from that original expansion draft on this team. And now Detroit trying to work it out of their own zone. Edvinsson gives that over for Raymond. Now for Seider. Moritz Seider working in there against Montour. A good feed for Larkin. That was blocked. A heavy rip. And now Hartford on the counter rush as Kubalik able to give that one for Edvinsson as they work it back the other way. But bad pass that time for Kubalik, or from Kubalik to Larkin. Goes out of the zone, but they do get it back as now Larkin towards the net. Larkin working in. Glove save by Askarov. Defensive zone draw now for the Whalers. 2:32 remaining. Andrew Kopp, also a former Red Wing on this team, as Wallander in front for Larkin. And we're able to hold that one off, but Larkin now still with it into the corners. He'll work back. Now for Wallander, a shot saved by Askarov. And now another draw here to the left of Askarov. And that is won by Andrew Kopp, as Maki gives for Montour. Montour spins away from a man, gives for Denisenko. A long pass there for Andrew Kopp. A rush here for Hartford. Now Besser shot, as that's a kick save and still loose. Besser back to the point now for Maki, as he tried to feed that over for Andrew Peak, but now into the corners. Denisenko back with it, fighting with Reinbacher, as he is able to clear the zone, but picked up by Besser at center ice. Now gets for Denisenko, less than a minute here in this game, or from regulation at least. Denisenko is shot blocked by Mats Tomernes, a top 3 pick from a few years back, as he will lead the charge here. Knocked off the puck by Andrew Kopp, as he'll take that back for Hartford. Dumps it into the zone. Going to be retrieved by Wallander, and so he'll take that out for Detroit. And now 30 seconds left. Volino, a good feed there for Larkin, as he's overtaken by Andrew Peak. A risky pass in front of the net, but Provorov able to secure it as he loses the handle up the boards. Now Wallander spins off a man to Volino. Volino, turning pass now for Raymond. Tried an extra one, and that would have been a good one, but Hartford was on top of that. Now Scheifele into the final 10 seconds. Had a rush, and that is offside. We'll call it 10.9 remaining. Quick face-off win, quick shot on goal. Let's do it. As we do get the win into the zone. Leo Carlson now for Scheifele. Tried to be a little too fancy. I like the thought process, but execution was not where it needed to be, as Detroit is able to force OT now with a late goal in the third period. 2-2 here from Hartford, as we're trying to split the difference here. We're 2-2 in this episode to make it 3-2 with an overtime win. The Red Wings outshooting the Whalers 33-23, which has not been the case over this episode. Usually we have the advantage in that one. We have the advantage on the shots, but not so much the scoreboard. There's a quick rush here, Montour, and that's a good shot. Rebound into the corner. Scheifele does, or I'm sorry, Landeskog kicks it up, but misses his mark. As now Seider a chance as he leads the rush for Detroit, and Larkin right in front. Askarov able to knock that opportunity down. I don't know. I think that was Landeskog was back there and just skated away. He's like, I'm not dealing with this. And now that one goes astray, and then we turn it over as now Seider towards the net, saved by Askarov. Just more space to work with, but we're much more sloppy with it. As now Landeskog leading the charge in front for Montour, a good chance. As that saved and then knocked down to the ice was Seider by Scheifele. As Scheifele just being a human wrecking ball, but not where he wants to be now. Behind the play is Seider towards the front, a save by Askarov. Great chances from both sides so far. And this one now Larkin, as that's blocked, and a second chance by Dylan Larkin. He buries that glove side on Yaroslav Askarov. His glove has been such a detriment in this episode. We've seen him get beat glove side like 3 or 4 times in just a game and like a period, as Detroit is going to win this one. We'll take the point, but we wanted the win. But on that note, we are going to submit ahead one more game against Vegas and hopefully get back in the win column. So now this is where we're going to end it. We visit Vegas, as they have kind of climbed up the standings a little bit. They've been mostly towards the bottom over the course of this franchise, but at 20-17-4, they are improving but hopefully we are able to stomp that, as after the first period, we are up 2-0. Mangiapane both goals as he beat Ville Husso twice. And now no score after the second. We will sim this third period, and we are able to get the win here. They scored earlier on the power play, Nicholas Haig, but then Besser answered on the power play of our own a few minutes later as we take this one 3-1 from Vegas, and we get back in the win column, ending this episode at 3-2-1. Mangiapane, the first star, 2 goals. Montour, 3 assists, the second star. And Askarov, the third star, as his play has been inconsistent over the past 10 games or so. As Vorobiev, again, a concussion. So not what we want to see from one of our top prospects down there at the AHL level. As this is where I'm going to leave you, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Up and down results in this game, but we're still 26-14-2, currently in a spot in the Metro. So hopefully we can sustain this play as we go along. Now more than halfway through this Year 5 season, we're going to pick up the pace from here on out and try to work deep into this season, get into the playoffs, which hopefully we're still around for. We've only had 1 playoff appearance over the course of this franchise, but I think we're set for number 2 and probably a deeper run at that. But as always, everybody, it's been real and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.